Hello everybody, in this video we will be discussing why Hitler invaded Poland and more specifically the Danzig crisis. This has been chalked up to Hitler wanting to go on world conquest, but is this really the truth? In this video we will be discussing the Danzig crisis and the invasion of Poland. Please come into this with an open mind, and this video is controversial by nature, but none of these are my personal opinions. These are all historical accounts and taken from documents. If you can prove me wrong by providing evidence, I will delete this video. All my sources will be cited in the bio. To understand why Hitler invaded Poland, we need to understand Poland itself. In the early 1700s, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was the powerhouse of Eastern Europe and the center of gravity. The empire encompassed Ukraine, Belarus, Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania, and obviously Poland. The Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was dissolved in 1795 after losing a war with Russia, Sweden, and the Ottoman Empire. Many thought this would be the end of Poland altogether, but as we know, Poland would gain independence in the Treaty of Versailles. This new Polish country was made from land from the Austro-Hungarian Empire and Germany. Poland was unfairly given ethnically and historically German land. The new borders gave Poland access to the Baltic Sea and what was called the Polish Corridor that separated mainland Germany from East Prussia. When Poland regained independence after 123 years, they were almost immediately in a war of their own doing. There was a split idea of what this new Polish state should be. Figures like Roman Donowski believed it should just be a country that ruled over historically and ethnically Polish lands, while figures like Pilsudski believed that Poland should restate its Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth borders. The main reason for the Polish-Russo War was Poland wanted Ukraine. Russia was in the midst of a civil war between White Russia and the Soviet Union at this time. Poland believed that Russia could not fight a war on two fronts, and they were somewhat wrong, as Russia pushed them back to Warsaw, but Poland rallied and was able to win the war. When they signed the Treaty of Riga, Poland became an empire, and now it encompassed millions of Ukrainians and Jews in their empire. 12 years after this, in 1933, the Nazis took power. Poland tried to do the same thing they did to the Soviet Union, where they build a coalition and invade when the country's weak, because after the Treaty of Versailles, the Germans could only have 100,000 soldiers at a time. But this did not work. They were not able to build a coalition to invade Germany, so instead they signed a non-aggression pact, as Hitler was an admirer of Pilsudski. In 1935, Pilsudski passed away, and he was replaced by the hyper-nationalist leader Ignaz Monsunsky. Poland's relationship with minorities rapidly deteriorated, especially the German and Jewish minorities. There was frequent clashes between ethnic Poles and ethnic Jews. Ignaz Monsunsky was a Zionist just like Hitler, as no country in Europe wanted to take the Jews as immigrants, because people in Europe had grown fed up with the Jews at this time because of their collaborations with the Freemasons. Hitler, Mussolini, Monsunsky, and Francisco Franco all believed that the Jews were working with the Freemasons in an international network to conspire against white people, Christianity, and fascism, and promote democracy and communism, so the Jews and Freemasons can control these countries through democracy and communism via proxy. Hitler and Misgitsy didn't get along, but Misgitsy once said, "If Hitler can finally solve the Jewish problem for once and for all, we can be the best of friends." Hitler didn't like Pilsudski, but they had a shared enemy to the east in the Soviet Union. Many of Poland didn't like the Soviet Union because of their anti-religious stance, with Poland being a heavily Catholic country. There was a fake Romanian war scare reported by the British media, and also a fake Czechoslovakian war scare reported by the British media, and this made Poland hesitant of Germany and start to view them as an expansionist empire. While true that Germany did want the oil fields of Transylvania, There was no troop buildups or any indication to cite that there would be a war in the coming months. In 1938, Austria and the Sudetenland of Czechoslovakia were incorporated into the Reich without any war or blood loss. After the Treaty of Versailles, 10% of Germany's population was outside of its borders. The incorporation of the Sudetenland dramatically improved the conditions of the people living there, and there was a need for intervention after the Czechs and Slovaks started infighting. Many were happy for the intervention, but for the West and Britain, this seemed like a blatant act of aggression. The Prime Minister of Britain, Neville Chamberlain, in public denounced these actions, but in private supported them and was sympathetic to the reunification of the Germanic-speaking peoples. The reason Britain allied with Poland was so that Poland and Germany could not negotiate for the city of Danzig or work together financially or militarily, as they felt like if Germany kept having these bloodless, warless wins, that it would question England as the number one power in Europe. This wasn't the doing of Neville and Chamberlain, but more so the people around him, as the Fairfax Bank and Winston Churchill both had the second most power in England besides Neville Chamberlain. The Fairfax Bank is still owned by the Rothschilds to this day, and Winston Churchill was being paid by shadowy figures within London State Street and the Focus anti-fascist political party. In 1939, Britain signed a war guarantee with Poland, which meant if Poland went to war, that they had to go to war too. After this, Poland cuts off all connections with Germany for negotiations over the city of Danzig, because they thought the British war guarantee would scare off Germany. Also, after this war guarantee, the Poles started to kill German ethnically people living in Poland en masse. Poland and Britain knew that they couldn't stop the German army from invading with this war guarantee, so they looked to the east for this in the Soviet Union, but they couldn't ally with the Soviet Union because the Soviet demands were too much. They wanted to be able to station troops in Poland and Romania, but the Polish and English saw this as too much, and they were fearful that once the Soviet troops were stationed in Romania and Poland, that they would just do a full-scale invasion themselves. This left the Soviet Union with no other option but to ally with Germany, as no one was left for the taking. It pushed the Soviet Union into the hands of Germany, and they signed the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, which sealed the fate of Poland. Hitler signed this pact with a heavy heart, as there was 200,000 ethnic Germans living in Lithuania, and the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact gave all of the Baltics to the Soviet Union. But Hitler knew he would be back again in Operation Barbarossa, so for the time being, they could live under the USSR. That's how he viewed it. The invasion of Poland restored national pride back to Germany and effectively reversed the Treaty of Versailles. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. It's my first video,